On Rakim, this is 20 years later. Do or die.
Rock the house, rock the house, rock.
East New York, East New York. The Bama Projects, Unity Plazas, man. Home of the brave, East New York. Shout out to Psycho. 340. That's my building, y'all. I grew up with AZ and all that, man. That's the homie.
Climate in East New York. When we moved there,
that's my window right there.
He had a few challenges because the kids out there were a little rougher than the kids in Crown Heights.
My aunt lived out here, and I guess that what made my moms want to come out here, you know, because my mom was a single mother. So, you know, she wanted to come somewhere affordable.
Growing up without a father was tough. It wasn't given. You're the boy of the house, you're the man of the house, so you have to take charge.
Making sure my mom was all right. Like, I'm the only male in the house. It was my mom's and my sister. Just making sure they was good was like the biggest thing in my life.
When he turned 9, he had to learn how to ride the train to school because I left him in school in Crown Heights. It was a better school, so he had to ride the train by himself at 9.
I was like 10 or 11 riding the train. That's how we grew up in the hood, East New York.
I had to still travel to the schools. My mom didn't want to switch me out to school. I was fairly new over here, you know what I mean? It was different energy. It was like the survival of the fittest, you know? And I'm really young, but I'm hearing the noise, I'm seeing the action. That was the beginning of everything.
Because growing up in East New York was no skipping a park. So it wasn't fancy or glamorous at all.
At all.
What up, dog?
That was the hood.
Okay. I ain't going nowhere. Guarantee. That's my word. Yes, sir. Yeah.
That time when he turned 12, he started writing music. You know, he started writing, he had this book and he's writing all these things.
I always was attracted to poetry from school with Langston.
Look at the haircut, he had the flat top and all that.
I used to always write, you know, I wrote, you know, little raps.
Me and my brother shared a room for the majority of our life. So our room was his lab.
You know, she used to hear me spit some of the poetry and she was like, I could see she was amazed and just like, okay. He sounded pretty good.
Yeah, AZ was nice. He taught me how to rap. That's a fact.
I would see him writing and rhyming.
That's a fact.
I didn't really understand at first. I was like, oh, so you're aspiring to be a rapper. Okay.
I think I had the soul since then. I acquired the interest in wanting to rap then. From there, I just started, you know, writing rhymes and saying rhymes to myself. And, you know, nobody really knew. Kept it to myself.
Yo, he used to be in the elevator, banging on the elevator, making a beat off the elevator, rapping all day, going up and down the elevator. If you catch him in the elevator, you're gonna get a hot verse. That's a fact.
But deadly by sundown. This was always the case in Dead Man's Park.
You know, we always have block parties. Everybody had block parties, but the park jam was something different. Usually in a block party, the people from the block participate. But when you have a park jam, everybody in the community come in. That's when, you know, we had our 40s.
That shit's lit.
Private stock and pina colada and mixing them. You know, I'm young. Everybody was
I was younger than AZ and them and all that.
Like,
we used to be looking up to them and shit.
Gangsters, the fake gangsters, the baby gangsters, everybody was just there. The ladies was out. Just me looking right now, it's like I could see the picture in my brain how it was.
Salute to Islam.
Nobody in the park. And like, you know, once you turn the music on, you know, it starts with 100, but we might end up with 500 people out there in the next 2-3 hours.
It's called Dead Man Park. There was always a body here, which is not a good
Nasty
thing,
work, Dead Man's Park.
You know,
if you're from the Bahamas, you know about Dead Man's Park.
And it was out here,
the blocks and all that.
And we had a park jam here, and they tore the shit down.
I was there.
They tore it down.
AZ's
I was there when Daddy O had that.
Us was always amazement and just noticing that it was us doing it. And it wasn't somebody from another neighborhood. It wasn't somebody from the Bronx. It was these dudes are actually doing it.
Fact.
Daddy O, you know, is one of my homies, and I saw them get busy, and I was like, wow. You know, I seen the reaction from the crowd, and I was like,
I was there that day. I was mad little. I was rapping that day. It was like a few people in the project. Daddy O, let's smash the mic and rap. That's when I was wild young and all that.
In the 80s, everybody had radios, and they walked the streets with the radios, and you'd hear it. And that's when it first connected me. I'm like, wow.
Everybody know about them old school boom boxes.
From the experience after the Apollo show was that the bar was raised.
Legendary, man. Apollo Theater.
To meet that bar. Like
the stars was made.
Go to the next level and do bigger venues, and now I'm
comedians, rappers, R&B stars.
You know, it was early. The album wasn't even out yet. So the album was coming. I was like, okay, we're gonna sell some albums, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get on tour. And that's exactly what happened.
Do or Die was released on October 10th, 1995.
Go pick that album up, Do or Die. Classic album to this day.
The two biggest historical events of the 20th century. The O.J. Simpson acquittal and the Million Man March. Was it a coincidence?
If the glove don't fit,
Coincidence.
you must have quit.
Before OJ was acquitted, the day of the Million Man March, my album was released. It just felt like I made history, regardless of what. You know what I mean? I just felt like I was a part of history. That
That's
you know,
a fact.
I was here for a reason. I mean,
Jacking that. Y'all jacking that? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if y'all jacking what you just said,
the album
man.
comes out. The reviews are incredible. I remember our press department calling me hour after hour. We got another
Heavy
one.
D,
we got another
Rakim,
one. We never thought.
Raekwon the Chef. He had some legendary people on his album. Pete Rock.
We were so proud.
Come on, man, look
that
at
he
it.
got to make his own record, and the credible people I cared about, the real writers, the real, today we call them bloggers. They all thought it was great.
When I premiered AZ's album Do or Die on the radio and stuff, the fans took to it immediately. You know, as much as they did Illmatic. There were lots of good records coming out at that time and era, so I made sure that this one was specially heard. You know, told people, hey, look, man, trust me, this guy is it, and they went with it.
When I heard Do or Die, it was gutter, you know, which is what we like, especially More Money, More Murder, More Homicide, like that. That's the stuff that That DJ like me.
More money, more murder, more homicide. You catch that body, nigga, better have that alibi.
You know, even records
Fire.
like Whole Happy Jackie, Sugarhill, More Money, More Murder. It's like it told the stories of what was going on in New York, like what we go through, and it's like it's just painted through, you know, through lyrics. So it's like if you wasn't from New York, it's like a lot of cats that I know from around the world, they look at AZ like, yo, he's one of the coldest rappers ever.
You know, hip hop, you can make a hit and it bang, but it
Yo,
gets to a point.
let me know if y'all think AZ is one of the top 10 lyricists of all time. Not all them other big records. You know, I'm talking about lyricists, lyrical lyrics. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if AZ in y'all top 10, man.
This joint came on the radio, and that Do or Die album, I knew it was gonna be classic because everybody was like fiending for AZ album.
When he came with Sugarhill, we knew then that he was able to make huge records that transcended into sound scan, Billboard, million sales. You know what I mean? Like, it's a difference when you're just able to spit and rhyme, but to be able to translate that into Billboard #1, you know, global charting. That's another thing. So when he was able to do that, we was like, oh shit.
He was #1
Like,
over top a lot of hip hop artists back then.
He knew the game plan, and he knew the blueprint, and he followed it.
To me, Do or Die was important because it was the link in the chain. I brought a certain sophistication to the table, a certain mindset. So I just added on that whole mystique to the game. It was needed. It was mandatory.
I'm jacking that.
Underrated.
1993, 1994, the era of Brooklyn and New York, and I think of now, I'm almost envious and jealous that he's that real, that his integrity is so intact.
You can't
He's
be,
his
that's
own
340,
It's
man.
wine. When you drink a great wine, you're drinking it through the soil. You taste the cork, you taste the spice, you taste things through the soil. And the best wine is an amalgamation of all that. So today's big records that you hear, whatever it is, Kendrick Lamar, there might be something from his parents in there who gave him and played subconsciously a little bit of AZ.
Talking
I
about his
agree.
evolution as a
I
man
agree.
and as an artist, I would say that he was destined to do
You gotta
it.
listen to what
It's
he
very
said, man.
difficult for me to see him any other way. He was bred to be a king.
AZ's life has always been a delicate dichotomy. He was called man when he was merely a kid. He had a major label deal, but chose independence. He's one of the greatest MCs in the game, but still underrated. But this tender balance never kept him from creating timeless classics that set and raised the standards for hip-hop. Today, AZ is experiencing a new golden era in the studio, recording the long-awaited Do or Die 2.
Dubbing the Do or
Go
Die
check that
right
out.
now.
Fire,
Sequel,
classic.
I feel no pressure. I just feel good to get through it. Like 20 years later, I'm kind of excited, honestly.
Like a hood
For
novel.
this Do or Die 2, I think those that contribute as far as producers, they understood AZ. So they're bringing the right music to the table, and it's enabling me to put the flow that's missing in the game. What made me reflect, you know, from this whole journey is that I'm still on the journey. You know, it's not the ending. It's really like a whole brand new beginning. My mind is opened up.
Still breathing.
Learning the business.
It's not the
knowing
ending.
that I perfected my craft, and I'm looking forward to it.
Salute AZ, man.